Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome back to some more Heritage Minutes, Canada's 1 minute movies that just answer questions and also leave you with a lot of questions. And so we're starting out with Matt Taylor.
Hi, Mr. Taylor. Now, when are you going to bring in Bridge on the River Kwai? The reviews are fantastic.
Well, I'm still doing 50% business with witness for the prosecution.
We saw that last week, and we seem to be the only ones here to see this foreign movie.
Columbia Pictures again. If we don't take Kwai now, they're going to send it across the street.
Well, they can't. Wait a second. Little Elgin is half the size of the main one, isn't it?
Well,
So I moved witness into Little Elgin and Kwai into the big, and I filled both. So then I tried a 5-plex in Toronto. So I said if I was the first to split an old movie house into 2 small ones, or 5, then what about 15 houses in one?
Wow.
15, Nat.
Not 15? Then what about 21?
When Nat Taylor opened the world's biggest multiplex in Toronto, he changed the way the world goes to the movies.
Well, I must admit, it took me a second to figure out what was actually going on in this one, but it all came together in the end where I was going, oh, okay, so originally movie houses, as he called them, were only single screen viewings, I guess, which would have drastically limited the amount of things you can just pump through, whether it be this film and this film. I mean, I guess that was probably in a time where there was just less films overall, but then as more and more films became available, or I guess even just were made, you kind of would have been stuck in the spot, well, like you said, I'm still making revenue on the last one, but a new one's come out, and so how can I do this? And it especially makes sense because it was, 1957. So if people are serious moviegoers, they want to go to the movies every week, that's the thing that they do. They are very quickly going to run out of options. Like she said, I saw that last week, we've seen it again this week, we're the only ones here for this one. Surely there has to be something else you can offer us. And so from a modern day perspective, it makes so much sense that you would just split it up into a whole bundle of little ones. I don't know how it was just one massive one before or how that was working, but either way, just to split it all up, you just get, I don't know, 16 or even 4 different movies rolling through at different times. So then you are able to cater to everyone's different tastes and times and work-life balance and however they want to just structure their life. They're like, yeah, sure, I can see that movie because I didn't see it last week and I can actually just fit it in my schedule. So I must say, I've never thought about how inefficient a movies or a cinemas could be because, well, like you said, if you just have one showing over and over again, everyone's going to get bored. But when you expand it to the biggest one in the world, I can only imagine at the time with 21 separate rooms, it is just going to become so much bigger than it ever could have been with one. No matter how many seats you are, if you can't fill it because people are bored, you can't fill it. I mean, I can only imagine he made a serious pretty penny along the way by doing it this way, as he just saw his chart go through the roof and exponentially just grow and grow and grow as they become more and more popular. But I guess that is generally the case when you change an entire business model for the better. But anyway, now moving on to our second one, we have Tommy Prince.
When Tommy Prince went behind enemy lines, the enemy was in trouble.
That time at Anzio, 3 days on his own. He trained our guns from
He never
his hideout.
boasted about his army time. Never said nothing.
One of the few non-Americans ever awarded the Silver Star of the United States. Tommy's Prince.
He was the bravest man I ever seen.
But after Italy and France, and then twice in Korea, he had to fight the battles of peacetime in a community where Canadian Indians have it hard. Of poverty, which would claim his many, many medals. He had to fight the drink, and he did. And family troubles, and he did. And he died in dignity, one of the most decorated soldiers in Canada's history.
Wow.
Tommy Prince of the Ojibwe Nation. The Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry are honored to say farewell to one of our own.
Well, that is certainly a little bit of a segue from the last one, which was all about just making movies and making people happy. Man, that one just hit me like a steam train. I was not expecting it. I was thinking Tommy Prince might invent something, not just go down the route that they made him go down, or just that he ended up taking. The thing that hit me the most, which I didn't even realize, I never even kind of considered the fact that, like he said, poverty led him into selling his medals. He was one of the most decorated soldiers in all of history, and he ended up kind of physically having none of them because he just was driven into poverty and selling medals. Like, it's such a strange thing to me that people want to buy them, because to me it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't mean anything to them unless it's a museum buying it. That's different. But if a person is just buying these medals because someone else just stepped onto the battlefield over and over and over again, like they said, twice in Korea and all these different places, just somehow earned an American medal even though you're a Canadian, I don't understand how you do that. I mean, I guess you just have to prove yourself to the nth degree. And then, as everyone was saying at the start here, just absolutely incredible soldier.
The enemy was in trouble.
Yeah, exactly that. When Tommy Prince went behind enemy lines, they were in trouble. It honestly kind of reminds me of another story from Canada, obviously being Leo Major, which just has incredible stories as well. I mean, being only 1 minute, they don't exactly have time to go through and explain how he got all of his medals, but I can only imagine he did some incredible things based on the stories that we heard. So I'm surprised that I have not heard of Tommy Prince before, but going from just an incredible soldier to just a devastating end. And I mean, I guess scrolling down, yeah, here we go. A eulogy is given for Tommy Prince, Canada's most decorated Indigenous war veteran. Okay, so that just puts it in context for me. I mean, it was certainly stated and portrayed within the entire Heritage Minute, and so I'm not taken back by it, but it's just good to put it into context. Speaking of context, I just wanted to search him up a little bit more. So born 1915 and then 1977. Like it says here, Thomas George Prince MM, I never know the military ranks, but was an Indigenous Canadian war hero and one of Canada's most decorated First Nations soldiers. And even just the fact that people also search for Leo Major when talking about Tommy Prince, it certainly just puts it into perspective for me, especially because it wasn't just smooth sailing outside of the wars. No, this guy fought for his entire life as narrated by this guy, and honestly, it's incredible that people just push through this all. You know, all of the military just have his incredible personnel, but to be one of the Canada's most decorated, you certainly have to just be a cut above. But anyway, now moving on to our third one, we have Le Bolduc. 1930.
Mr. Boudry, my name is Marytravers, but he called me La Bolduc. My daughter Denise. I came to record a song.
But you're not well known, Mrs. Bolduc. You've never recorded before.
Oh, well, gotta begin somewhere, huh?
I suppose your accompanist is not a professional player.
Oh, Denise can play.
Sorry to say, we have no masters left now, Georges.
Oh, I always keep a dozen in stock, boss.
You're aware that recording costs a lot.
Here's $20.
That's a working man's salary for a month there, Mr. Baudry.
Well, what do you say we begin right now?
That's true.
Mes amis, je vous assure que le temps est bien dur. Il faut pas se décourager. Ça va bien vite commencer. De l'ouvrage, il va en avoir pour tout le monde.
Marytravers had a hit right in the middle of the Depression. She went on to sing for princes and presidents, but to her fans, she would always be La Bolduc.
Fair enough. I mean, right out of the gate, I'm not sure if getting a hit during the Great Depression is the best thing. There's not that much money flying around, so I don't think you're going to be very rewarded for your services or your, I guess, ability besides just being able to sing for princes and everyone else. But no, I love the entire start to this. It almost looks like it was dubbed, I think. I don't know if there's an audio delay or what it is, but it certainly is just a good story. But I love what she said. Well, you got to begin somewhere. You can't, especially not in the 1930s, you can't just whip out your phone to record something and send it off or mix it on the computer. No, you have to go to an entire recording studio, like you said, get out the vinyl, even just etch it there. It is such an involved process that honestly it makes sense that it's $20, but it did also catch me by surprise. I was like, $20, is that it? But my mind just could not compute that it's what, 90 years of inflation right there. And I guess that just shows you where the Heritage Minute's writing is just incredible, because they snuck in the line like, oh, that's a working man's salary for the month, and that just goes, oh, hang on a second, yeah, $20 is not $20 as we know it today, it's $20 in the 1930s. And so that does make me wonder, what was she doing and how did she save up? Because this is during the Great Depression. How do you save up an entire month's salary just to be able to spend it on recording a single album or a single song perhaps? I mean, it quite clearly paid off, having a hit during a time when not much fun and anything like that is going on. Everyone is just struggling to survive is certainly just an incredible feat, and it's quite needed for so many people, which is kind of displayed in this. You know, everyone just kind of comes out. I can only assume that's in French, but just to get all these people just coming out of woodwork going, oh, music, oh, that's literally music to my ears all of a sudden, just look at that. And so I guess if nothing else, she's just a perfect case of just following your dreams. I mean, obviously for her it works and not for everyone, but hey, if you can just manage to do it and you spend an entire month's salary on a single album or a single song, you obviously just care so much and are so passionate about the entire thing that you put your time and money, energy, blood, sweat, tears, passion, whatever it may be, just to be able to get this thing out the door. You put all of that aside just to make it happen, and for her, just an incredible story, because man, it just turned out very, very well for her. But anyway, now moving on to our fourth one. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but something along Kenovak Ashivak.
There is no one Inuit word for art. We say it is to transfer something from the real to the unreal. My grandmother taught me how to survive. At first, we sold bags and crafts, and now galleries all over the world present my work, from Paris to Tokyo. But all the art I made was for my family. My children had to go to school, so we moved to Cape Dorset. This was the start of a new way of life for us. I am an owl, and I am a happy owl. I am the light of happiness, and I am a dancing, happy owl.
As a founder of Cape Dorset's famed printmaking co-op, Kanuiwak Ashevak introduced Inuit art to the world.
Well, what an incredible story, being able to bring an entire culture's artwork into, well, I guess the entire world really. Like she said, from Paris to Tokyo, your artwork is all across the world, acting as an eye-opening experience for people going, oh wow, I never knew there was so much culture and heritage, and even just maybe anyone at all indigenous to Canada and North America. And for it to be so vivid, and honestly, I love it at the start where, what do they say? It's the transition from real to non-real or something.
We say it is to transfer something from the real to the unreal.
To the unreal. I was pretty close, but no, I love that expression, from the real to the unreal. In the context of art, it makes so much sense because you're taking, in their case, just everything you were seeing in nature, the patterns, the formations, the the wildlife, whatever it may be, and from there you discovered an incredible artwork that just has so much meaning beyond just kind of the lines on the page. In saying that, I can only hope that this is the real person they actually managed to get it, and I can only imagine as well there would surely be real artworks in the background. I guess just having a look in the description, a founding member of Cape Dorset's famed printmaking co-op introduced Inuit art to the world in 1927 to 2013, and this came out in 2016. I mean, I guess maybe that's not when it was made, that's when it was uploaded. But then looking at all these images, you can really see just the expanse and the color that has been used. The color is almost incredible because I feel like often it is more like this one, which is a little bit more, I guess, simplistic colors, more earthy colors, but there are some incredible greens and oranges and reds and fades and gradients within this artwork. Taking this one, for example, which I can only hope is one of hers, we can truly see just the amount of detail within the out and the gradient coming out of all the leaves and the petals. It really is so detailed. And then honestly, I haven't even begun to unpack the entire family situation that she had going on within her life. She had to move to allow her kids to go to school. I can only imagine that uprooting process would not have gone easy. I guess when will we return home is a perfect line to go, we're here, sure, but when can we go home for real? But the one thing that truly got to me, or the one thing that just gave me hope within the entire situation, is just when she goes on to say this.
I am an owl, and I am a happy owl.
That right there just says so much to me about her entire magic, her entire personality, her entire approach to life, because obviously she's an artist, but she's just using her ability to produce this artwork that I guess her grandmother taught her in the first place. That to me at least, she's just able to express herself and just showcase her love for her culture just through art, and I feel like that just must be an incredible feeling, and almost to the point I'm jealous, regardless of the fact that it's just gone worldwide art. That's just completely by the wayside. No, just having that connection to your culture just must be incredible. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to do the YouTube algorithm things down below. Also, if this is the first video of mine that you are watching, then make sure to go check out just any other ones I've done. Also, make sure to go check out the original videos down in the description below. Or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.